Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about my opinion on Shane Dawson's new docu-series about Jake Paul. So just for some background, I have been watching Shane Dawson and the videos he puts out on his channel since his Shane days. Okay? So it's been a long time. Probably like 10 years I've been watching him now. I haven't watched him steadily. There was probably a period of about, I don't know, let's say like 5 years of that I didn't really watch. So like the beginning and the Shanae days, I watched all that. And then I stopped watching, and then probably as he was getting into like the Illuminati stuff and started doing like the series that he did with his dad, that's when I picked up and started watching again. And I just think the things he's been putting out lately are incredible. Sorry, do you hear that? That's my dog. You'd think she was dying. She's like laying in front of the storm door, like right in the sun. And is obviously hot, but continues to lay there. Anyway, so I really enjoy the stuff that Shane Dawson has been putting out on his channel lately. The series are seriously like TV quality for the most part. We'll kind of get into, that when I'm talking today. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. I think that he just put out part 5 last night, and I just finished watching it today. Watched a little bit this morning before I went to work, and a little bit when I came home from work. But up until now, I've seen all 5 parts. So this far in the series, we hadn't really seen any conversation with Jake Paul. Parts 1 through 4 were all just kind of background information, which is really the way that any documentary is done. You give all the background information, then you present basically the plot. Okay, so like when you're reading a book, background information, you start seeing like a problem arise, and there's the climax, and then there's the resolution. And generally with documentaries, the resolution is kind of put upon you. So I'm assuming that's the way that Shane will take the rest of this documentary series. So parts 1 through 4 basically just kind of talk about Jake Paul's background, like in life, and that is kind of also what prompted me to make this video. Jake Paul is from Ohio, and I am also from Ohio, and yeah, so that's partially what prompted me to make this video. Before watching this series, I had like no idea who Jake Paul was. I knew who he was. I had heard of Team 10. I had heard of Jake and Logan Paul. I knew he was from Ohio. I didn't watch his stuff until that whole suicide video, which so far in the docuseries hasn't really been talked about, which I'm a little confused on, a little not. But yeah, up until the suicide video, I didn't really know who he was. And then that came out, and then after that, I don't think you could have been on social media without knowing who he was. Whether you like him or you hate him, I'd say that that video is a reason a lot of people don't like him. Along with other things I'm seeing now as, I'm watching Shane's documentary series on him. But yeah, so I'm kind of coming into this with the blind eye, you know what I mean? So parts 1 through 4, I think the original point of the docuseries was to kind of see if he was a sociopath, a psychopath. So they kind of talked about his family, and whether that could lead someone to have sociopathic tendencies. Yeah, then he kind of went over with a psychiatrist or a therapist or something about, how common antisocial personality disorder is in the United States. And like, I didn't realize it. I thought that number was pretty high. I'm not, I can't say whether that's right or wrong, but, the 1 in 25 number is rather high, I thought. So I thought Shane kind of went out and really push the boundaries by bringing his family into it. And I think he's at the point now. So who we are as people and our families and the decisions we make are so tied together. It's almost like he can't continue in this series any further without looking into if there was some type of abuse in Logan and Jake Paul's childhood that might have caused them to have sociopathic tendencies. And I think that's kind of the direction that Shane is taking the series, and I'm not sure if there's any other direction to take it. Because you don't want to accuse someone of being a sociopath. He's not doing this series to diagnose people. He's basically just trying to see if Jake Paul has sociopathic tendencies and what caused that. Like, what is all the beef about? Why don't people like him? Are they justified for not liking him? Should we hate him too? Yeah. But in this most recent part of the documentary series, when he actually went over to the Team 10 house, which is, I guess, where Jake Paul lives. I guess he lives there, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Oh! So when they went over there, one of the parts that really struck me, or a couple parts that really struck me, was when Jake kept saying, you know, this is what we do back home, this is what we do for fun, this is just how it is back home. And he's right. Let's put a pause on this. I've got to look up what part of Ohio he's from real quick. Okay, so it appears that Jake Paul is from the Cleveland area, which I thought he was from more of like the southern part of Ohio. But, you know, I was completely wrong. Nonetheless, Ohio, for people who are not familiar with Ohio, Ohio is mostly rural farm communities or just like suburban towns. We have the three major cities, Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. And they aren't, I mean, they're big, but they're not. Even in Columbus, you kind of feel like you're in a small town. You know what I mean? Like most of Ohio. Coming at it from the perspective of here in Ohio, you know, it's okay to just have a big old fire in your backyard and throw shit into it. I went to a bonfire before. That thing was probably 12 foot high. We had doors in it. We had, like, not lawn chairs. What's the word I'm looking for? Recliners. We had recliners in it, and we just set all of it on fire. Like, some of the flames, like when paint burns, it's so cool. When paint burns, it makes the flames different colors. So like, if you burn something with green paint on it, I'm not sure if this is all the time, but like we had a door in there with green paint on it, and when the paint burned off, the flame was green. Like, it was crazy. But anyway, that's just what you do in Ohio. You set like fires and do stupid shit because there's nothing else to do. So I realized, you know, the problem I think arose when someone who has just their whole life been super competitive and doing, you know, stupid shit, when they actually get any type of power, in the grand scheme of things, not like, oh, I'm the quarterback on the team, or, you know, stuff like that, when they actually get any type of influence over people in real life, sometimes things can go wrong, because then you have the resources to actually, you know, cause a change. It's not like, so for example, I just told the story of, you know, when we had that 12-foot fire at my friend's house in her backyard. But it was on over an acre of wide open field. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Whereas Jake Paul lights a fire in his in-ground pool in the middle of LA or whatever, that could hurt a lot of people. And I think that's where the problem with Jake Paul has arose, is you've got someone who's just used to doing all this stuff with no consequences, and then place them somewhere where the consequences can be very real, and issues start to arise. So I really think that Shane is doing a good job of kind of humanizing Jake Paul in a way. which is kind of weird because at the beginning of his series, a lot of people kind of had issues with it because, especially in the talk with the therapist, it was almost like he was dehumanizing him. And the therapist even still, at the beginning of part 5, was kind of dehumanizing him. Talking about sociopaths and psychopaths in general, she would just say they, and at this point, they as in, Shane and the therapist knew they were going to be seeing Jake Paul that day at his house. And she still kept using the word they to kind of make it a them or us situation. So overall, I think that Shane has done a really good job kind of playing a level field and trying to just present, the information that is there so that the viewers can draw their own conclusion on how they feel about Jake Paul, or whether or not Jake Paul is a sociopath, or, whether he deserves any type of respect at all. I can't believe I've watched this far in the series. Honestly, I can't believe it. I'm addicted to it. So, that is my opinion so far on the Jake Paul, Shane Dawson docuseries. I'm very excited to see parts 6 and 7, or more. Go ahead, keep them coming. I think there's only going to be 2 more parts, 6 and 7, and I'm very excited to see them. So I might be back after I see those to kind of give, my thoughts on the series as a whole. Yeah, let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe for more videos of me. That's so dumb. So go ahead and subscribe down below to keep up with my latest videos, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.